The 2012 Formula One season is well underway, and as tradition dictates, that means we get a game. Codemasters have been building a pretty solid foundation this year. The past few F1 games have been pretty decent.
Yeah.
So what's new this time around?
First and foremost, there's a young drivers test, which of course in the real world is the different teams' ways of estimating the talent of new drivers. And it's more or less like tutorial in disguise,
right?
Which may sound like a small thing, but for this series it's actually a really good thing because it's been missing or a proper tutorial has been missing for the previous years.
Yeah, the previous F1 games have been pretty hardcore.
Pretty brutal. I mean, the driving in them were still like arcade / simulation, but this time around you at least get an idea what it is that you're supposed to do to, for instance, hit the apex of corner. And for people who haven't previously played these sorts of games, it's a really good system. Also, the young drivers tests lead directly into the start of the game because you know, according to how good you manage to do these tests, you are offered different positions at different teams. So you won't just, as your first team, go directly into Red Bull or Ferrari or McLaren or something like that, but instead get opportunities at smaller teams like Toro Rosso or Force India. Yeah. Also, it's got a new thing called Season Challenge.
Right.
Where you can challenge a driver at a different team, and if you beat him in 3 races, or best of 3 races, you get his position. And I believe you have like 10 races to move up to the top, and I mean, it's a small thing, but it's pretty funny. And finally, you have Champions mode, where you can compete against 6 former world champions. It's quite unique that in the current field of drivers, there's 6 former world champions. So Codemasters has taken advantage of this and has put up different sorts of challenges where, for instance, you have like 3 laps to overtake Kimi Raikkonen or something like that, or compete against Schumacher in the rain, which is just nigh on impossible. But it's a really cool addition to the game.
Of course, this being a driving game, nothing is more important than the actual driving. So how is the handling and the physics and all that good stuff this time around?
I mean, I could just say it's Codemasters, and Codemasters can do no wrong when it comes to racing games and controls, and that pretty much holds true for this. The biggest difference this time around is the difference between the different tires for the different races, of course. And it's not only a matter of slicks or rain tires or anything. It's the way you have to set up your strategy to really take advantage of the different tires, and it makes a huge difference when you play on one of the harder difficulties, because you really have to manage tires and not just power slide through every corner and then have to take a pit stop more. Also, it sounds so minor, but the sound and the way you can, for instance, hear the wind when you use your DRS or curse or anything, or the way that drivers come up and wants to overtake you, it makes a huge difference. So
you can power slide in F1 cars?
More or less, if you're really good or really crappy, I should say.
All right. Is it still really bloody hard?
Yes.
And unforgiving to newcomers?
As I said before, the young drivers test certainly makes it more approachable, but the Codemasters have had a really big, difficult task in managing the difficulty in all of the F1 games, and they haven't always sorted them out. It's more or less the same problem this time around, where I find that if you play on the easiest difficulty, you will just, start from last position in a crappy car and overtake everyone in a matter of...
Power slide.
Yes, in a matter of a few laps. Whereas if you put it up on the moderate difficulty, or whatever it's called, I find the challenge really good. It's slightly easy, but for new gamers, just again, managing tires, managing DRS curves, doing some proper overtaking and not just crashing into other cars will prove a massive challenge. So something in between there still needs to be sorted out, and I fear that it won't really capture new gamers that isn't already Formula One fans before they tackle that.
There's some new stuff with the presentation too, right?
Yeah, the graphics definitely are much better this time around. The first game was really pretty. It's the third game they've done now. The first game was really pretty. The second game really didn't improve that much in the graphics, but this time around it just seems that everything has more or less been picked up to the usual Codemasters standard. It's running on the Ego engine that also powered the third series and everything, and they were like spectacularly pretty games. And the F1 series is definitely coming around. As I said before, when it comes to presentation, the sound is also much better this time around. Of course, the engine sounds much better. And again, just the way that you can hear on the wind if you're being overtaken or if you're using your curves or DS properly, it's just really nice.
So in summary?
It's a big improvement than the previous game was to the first game, and therefore definitely a game I would once again recommend. I mean, it's still not, a huge blowout compared to previous games, but it is the best of the Codemasters Formula 1 games so far, and definitely something that every Formula 1 fan should be able to appreciate.
The 2012 season of Formula One is in full effect, full swing, pedal to the metal. I'll do that again. So, besides new game types, I'll take a look at the note down here with paper. Sure. Subtle, yes. Okay. Right.
Story improvements.
Story improvements, very important. I felt that the F1 2011 campaign was just...
Precisely.
Yeah. Not enough character development.
The twist ending.
The twist ending. I saw that coming a mile away.